But teacher, do we really need to know how to use phrasal verbs? Yeah, you really do. But why? I can say the same thing with one word. Why do we have to use phrasal verbs? Because native speakers use them all the time, and you should too. They help you sound more natural, more fluent, and less formal. So unless you want to sound like a politician all the time, you've got to use phrasal verbs. Welcome back to another video. My name is Fiona and I am an English teacher and Cambridge examiner. In today's video, we are going to be talking all about your favourite phrasal verbs. Woo! My students really hate these. I know they're difficult because they often don't translate directly from English to other languages, but are they really useful? Do English speakers really use them? Unfortunately, the answer to both those questions is yes. We do use them, and yes, you should as well, even at B1 level. So, in today's video, I've put together nine groups of phrasal verbs that I think are useful for you to know at B1 and that you can easily put into use during your exam. We're going to talk through some examples of how they can be used and some suggestions about specific exam style examples and how you can incorporate them and get the best mark you really can when you're doing your PET exam. So let's get into it. Our first group of phrasal verbs are formed using the base verb put, followed by a preposition. Okay, so in these first two examples, we have put away and put back. These are quite similar in meaning, but they do have slight differences. Both of these you might have heard in class with your teacher saying something like, put away your phone, or put your book back on the shelf. The distinction between the two, the difference, is that put away means to return an object to the place where you usually keep it. So for example, put away your phone means to put your phone into your pocket or into your bag. And put your book back refers to like returning it to the place that you took it from. So this could be a shelf, it could be a drawer, it could be a cupboard, returning it to its original position. Next we have to put out and to put off. These two phrasal verbs have very different meanings. To put out means to extinguish something that is on fire. If you have a candle, for example, and you extinguish it, you put it out. Put off, however, is a little different and is a very common phrasal verb to hear, especially if you're making plans or organizing something with a friend. To put off means to postpone or to temporarily cancel an event or a plan with the intention of doing it at a later date. So, for example, oh no, it's raining this weekend. Let's not have a party. We can put it off until next weekend when the weather is better. Phrasal verbs with get. The first one I'm going to talk about, you should definitely know and be able to use at B1 level, if not a little bit before, and that is get up. This phrasal verb means to get out of bed, to wake up, and to start your day. So for example, I usually get up at 7 o'clock in the morning. And it can also sometimes have the literal meaning of to stand up out of your chair or to stand up if you are lying in bed. Okay, so get up, stop being lazy, get up, get out of bed. Then we have get along with. This means to have a positive or a good relationship with someone, normally in a friendly way. So if you have work colleagues and you're quite friendly, you chat, you have a conversation every now and again, you can say, I get along with my colleagues. You could also say that for your family. We get along well. Get through refers to your ability to manage or to overcome or achieve a difficult task or difficult situation. For example, I know preparing for your exam can be hard. It requires a lot of studying, but you can get through it. You will achieve a good result in the end. The next group of phrasal verbs are ones that use the verb, the base verb, take. Okay, we have take off, take after, and take up. These three have very different meanings. So let's begin with take after. This is a very useful one to know for your exam because take after means to be similar physically or in your personality and your character to a person in your family. For example, who do you take after? Your mum or your dad? In this case, it means who are you most similar to? So this is something that you could be asked in your exam, and recognizing that phrasal verb and even being able to use it is going to get you some extra marks. So if you can incorporate it, do. Think of answers like, well, I really take after my mum in terms of our physical appearance, but I take after my dad more in terms of my character and personality. Take off has two different meanings. The first you've probably learned when you were first beginning to study English, and that is to take off your clothes, take off a jacket, take off your shoes, meaning to remove an item of clothing. But it can also mean to take off from an airport. If you are in an airplane and you are just beginning your journey and going up into the sky, then you are taking off. So good to remember those two meanings. And finally, take up. This means to begin a new hobby or a new routine. And again, this is a really useful one to know for your exam. If the examiner asks you a question about how you spend your free time or new hobbies that you would like to try, you can say, well, I'd really like to take up playing the guitar because I think it's a very nice sounding instrument. There we go. Good example that you can easily incorporate. Look. Phrasal verbs with look. These are some of the most useful ones. We've got look after, look for, and look forward to. Three really common phrasal verbs that you can really frequently hear if you're listening to audiobooks or listening to speakers or watching television in English. I bet you'll hear these phrases being used. Let's start with look after. This means to take care of someone or something. So for example, my friend asked me to look after her dog for the afternoon while she had an appointment. Okay. Look after means to care for or to temporarily take care of. Look for means to search. Like, I'm looking for my glasses. I just can't find them anywhere. Looking for. And then we have look forward to. This is super common, and I know I use this phrase all of the time. It means that you are excited or happy about a future plan or a future event that you know is coming. For example, I'm really looking forward to the holidays because I don't have to work. Woo! I'm looking forward to something. It's fun, it's coming in the future, and I'm excited and happy about it. Next up, phrasal verbs with run. We've got two examples for you. One is to run into. I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I ran into a friend in the supermarket that I hadn't seen for a long time. From context, maybe you've guessed, but to run into someone means to meet just by chance. You didn't have a plan. It wasn't an organized meeting. You just by chance bumped into them. You saw them when you were out. To run into. The next is to run out of. Completely different meaning. If we run out of something, it means that we have none left. So imagine I'm looking in the fridge this morning for some milk for my coffee. There's none there. And I go, oh no, I've run out of milk. There's no milk left. I've run out of it. Break. Here we're going to look at break up and break down. They sound like they should be related, and I suppose in one sense they could be, but they have two quite different meanings. To break up means to end a relationship with someone. Okay, if you break up, perhaps a boyfriend and a girlfriend, stop seeing each other, they end that relationship and they go their separate ways. They break up. Break down, however, means quite simply to stop working, stop functioning as it should. Your car could break down when you are driving on the motorway. That wouldn't be very good. Or we could also use breakdown in the emotional sense. So imagine if you and your boyfriend or girlfriend break up and you feel very, very sad, you feel overwhelmed, you feel devastated, then maybe you might break down, and it means to be really overcome with sadness. We're getting near to the end now, so this penultimate group of phrasal verbs are formed with the word set. Okay, we have set up and set aside. Two quite different meanings. To set up means to prepare or to organize or to plan. For example, let's set up a meeting for next Tuesday. Okay? Let's plan a meeting. Let's put it in the calendar. Let's set it up. We can also use it in the literal sense. Let's set up the theatre all ready for the performance. Okay, we have things to prepare, we have materials, we have scenery, we have to set it up. Prepare it and make it ready for the final performance. Set aside has quite a different meaning. For example, every weekend I try to set aside some time just for me to relax and read. So in that context, I am especially reserving or putting aside that time or that event temporarily and reserving it for a special reason or a specific purpose. Okay, so set aside can also mean with physical objects. Imagine I'm eating a pizza. I can't finish all of the pizza because it's enormous, so I set it aside for later. Okay, I reserve it in a special place for me to eat later on. Our final set of phrasal verbs are with the verb turn. Okay, we've got 4 phrasal verbs that use this base verb with different prepositions, and they are kind of related in different ways. We have turn up, turn down, turn on, and turn off. You might have heard these if you've been studying for a little while, especially turn on and turn off. These are quite basic phrasal verbs that you should definitely be able to use at this level. Turn on and turn off. These two are definitely related. Turn on, quite simply, means to start the functionality of something, to initiate a process. Normally, we use this when we're talking about an electronic device or the lights. Turn on the lights, initiate the process of the lights giving us light. And to turn off means to stop them working, is the opposite. Turn on is to initiate, turn off is to stop functionality of something. Finally, we have turn up and turn down. These are 2 interesting phrasal verbs and they both have multiple meanings. Let's start with the most basic one. Turn up and turn down the volume. In this case, turn up means to increase the volume of something, the volume of your music, or turn down means to reduce the volume of your music. However, they also have alternative meanings. Turn up can also mean to make an appearance or to attend an event. I turned up at the party at 8 o'clock. Okay, I arrived, I began my attendance. If we contrast that to turn down, this means to reject an invitation. Okay, so if we continue with our party theme, I invited my friend to the party, but she turned me down because she has another event to go to on the same day. Okay, she rejected that invitation and she's not coming to my party. She turned me down. So how can you learn phrasal verbs? I'm asked this question a lot by my students and I wish I had like a magic answer for you. Unfortunately, the only way is to practice and to consume as much English language as possible. Through hearing it, watching it, listening to it, you will start to notice phrasal verbs appearing. Once you can notice them, then you can begin to use them. But remember, at B1 level, in the exam in particular, you are expected to use some phrasal verbs, but you don't have to use too many of them. At this level, really the most important thing is just to be able to recognize them. If the examiner asks you a question that contains a phrasal verb, hopefully you will be able to understand it. If you are able to incorporate some of these phrasal verbs into your speaking exam or into the writing part, then that is fantastic and will absolutely get you some higher marks compared to if you didn't incorporate any. But the phrasal verbs are really important. They help you to sound more natural and more fluent when you are using English. And like I mentioned before, really English speakers use them all the time. They sound a lot less formal than alternative ways of saying the same thing. So they are worth learning and paying attention to. And that's it. I really hope you are able to use some of the vocabulary that we looked at in today's video. Please leave a comment down below if there are any phrasal verbs that you've heard or that you would like to use and are maybe not quite sure. Leave a comment and I will do my best to help you out. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Home Studies channel, of course. We have some great videos coming out in this series all about the B1 exam, so if you're preparing for that, definitely worth subscribing. If you fancy any more personalised help, don't hesitate to get in touch. Home Studies have a selection of courses and teachers available waiting to help you. See you next week, guys. Bye!